Don't speak what you don't understand. The truth is not in your command. Don't shout about what you think is fake. The decision isn't yours to make. Don't lie about the way things are. Tall tales will take you very far. Don't scoff when they say it's the end. In this life.
Hey everybody, it is Friday, August 8th. It's just after 6. And today we're just doing our regular weekly update. Ooh, 1 second. Forgot to plug in my internet. Okay. Let's see. I know I had a bunch of things I wanted to talk to you guys about. Comments. Hey, Camille. Hello, Diana. Nice to see you guys. Hi, Ellen. Hope you're feeling good. Hello, Kathy. Hi, Paula. So I posted the other day a bunch of hashtags on our Facebook page. I will send that email out today. I will also send out the email that you asked me for stuff last weekend regarding Jim Walden's post. You wanted to do posts tagging the media. So I will get that to you this weekend. We're using hashtags, and I will put those in an email to you if you're making comments on social media where you're talking about our fight or Medicare Advantage. We want you to use some of those hashtags at the same time. That way we can track and see like where they're going and what kind of attention we're getting to them. It's kind of just like branding our organization's mission and what we're doing. So make sure you do a couple of those. You could do hashtag NYC retirees. You can do protect our healthcare. You could do hashtag honor the promise. There was a whole bunch of them I posted the other day. Now I got to find where I put them. And don't break the promise. Hashtag Medicare means freedom. Hashtag we earned it. Those would be some of the things that we could do. So make sure when you are posting that you put a couple, like 1 or 2 of those hashtag or NYC retirees, and then one of those there with you. Okay. So that would definitely be helpful. And then if you are not getting our emails, and I did not send out an email last weekend, if you are not getting our emails, I promise I will do it between today and tomorrow. I just came in from mowing my lawn, so I may want to take a shower first, but I promise you I will send you an email by Saturday. If you do not get an email from us, you must look in your spam. And then let us know at our organization email, retirees@nycretirees.org, and let us know you're not getting them. If you are an AOL email, please check your spam. For some reason, AOL keeps putting us as spam. And then the organization that we send, the email that we send our emails from is donations@nycretirees.org. So when you do your address book, put donations@nycretirees.org in your address book. That way, whatever program you're using or AOL that you're using knows that we're not spam, we're in your address book. If for some reason you're still not getting them, please message us at our email address, and we will look into seeing why you're not getting them. Because several of you have told us you haven't gotten them for a long time, and we're like, "Man, this is crazy." And we figured out we are sending them to you. It's just you're not getting them. And then we try to figure out why. We'll send you a test. It goes to your spam. Then we have to make sure that you put us, in where you got to go. Thank you for all of those of you who are creating accounts. That's super helpful, because it's going to abbreviate how many different times we have to merge multiple accounts because every time you make a donation, you're donating different, multiple times. So anyway, that would be helpful to us too. Let's see. It's on the page. I use them all. Thank you, Judy. I appreciate that. So I am going to put in the chat a couple of links today, and I will put them in the email as well. So starting like next week, we are going to try to step up what we're doing in terms of political action. And we now need a political action team. So I'm looking for at least a dozen people per borough. I'm putting a sign-up list right now in the chat box, and I need you to sign up. What we'd like to see people do in joining us in doing this, we're wanting to do rallies in different boroughs. We want to hold town halls. We need your help when we go to community board meetings, because we have a whole team of people, like with Camille and Marcia and Jack, doing these community board meetings, and it would be really helpful if you guys were there, because it would give them support, sign up to speak, and affirm, especially if you live in the district where our members are speaking on your behalf. And it would really help move them, because many of these boards are basically ignoring us, and they're not giving us letters of support. Now, they got a lot of letters, and we're so grateful for all the hard work that they're doing. Now we could use your help to kind of help them, especially if you know someone on the board, if you are on a board. We want you guys to join our political action team to help this. One aspect of this is the community board crew, to help them get some more of these letters. And then holding town halls and meetings with your council members and getting a group of retirees to come with you. So we need boots on the ground, and you guys are our warriors, and we're going to start stepping up what we're going to be doing over the next couple months. And that's where you guys come into play. So right there, you'll see Google response, their Google chat, the Google Forms is Political Action Retiree Team. That is you. The next thing I want to put in there is, let's see, where did I put that one? Is that the one? Okay. The next thing I want to put in the chat is we have more questions for you regarding copays. We're still in this battle with the city. And this is really frustrating because, our team is trying to fight to get this resolved, and we're meeting some resistance. That one, I don't think, let me see if that one's done. Okay. I think that one is finished. I'm going to put this one in the chat as well. Oh, I kind of screwed that up. Hold on a second. Political action team. I put the wrong link in. So if you guys are clicking it, it might not work. Oh, I got his response. Maybe it is working. Let's do that one more time. So this is the political action one right now. I'm going to put that one back, the better link. This is a shorter link. I'm putting that link in the chat right now. And then let's see. Okay. Okay, so that one went in the chat. Your forms link is there. Hopefully that one works, because the other one I screwed up. And then here's the one for the copay questionnaire. Let's put that one in the chat too. I'll mark that one so you know which one they are. Copay questionnaire. Okay, perfect. So those are our two asks for now. And that will definitely help. Lisa, you already signed up. Thank you. Lisa likes being a political action warrior. Okay. So give me 1 second. My cell phone just died and I was using it for notes. And then I got to find my other notes. 1 second. Okay. Now I'm plugging in. Okay, last week we also put up a link to have you start doing some op-eds. Many of you signed up to do it, and yet we still don't have enough. Only a few of them sent them in. So if you did sign up for doing an op-ed, please send them to the organization's email. Let me see if I have that one in the chat as well. And whoops. Perfect. Okay, copy link. And we could use more of these, so get your creative juices flowing. I'm going to put this one. I want to write an op-ed. Okay, and that's the op-ed. They work. I did myself. Thank you, Janice. And I did not get to speak to Bob today regarding your issue. I will call him after or text him after this meeting. We had a whole bunch of craziness this morning, but I promise you I will get back to you on your ask. So that's kind of homework for you guys. You haven't had homework in a while. We could really use the political action support. You know, like when United Federation of Teachers or DC 37, they have like hundreds of people that sign up to do things with the union in whatever political action that they're doing, whether it's rallies, whether it's meetings, whether it's doing town halls, going to Albany, all of these things, we could really use the people's support. Diane, op-ed, are you able to acknowledge receipt so one knows it got to you? Well, if you put it in the email, please advise that you received it. Our team that's answering our emails, because it's not just me, will respond. So just when you send it, say, please confirm receipt. And then me or Bob or Michelle or Augie or somebody will tell you, yes, we received it. And then they'll send it on to the process. But yes, that's a great question. Okay, thanks, Janice. Janet, I don't know why you're not seeing them in the chat. They actually are in the chat now. I could see them all here. If you're not seeing them, don't worry, because I'll put them in the newsletter on the weekend. I'm literally leaving them on my desktop so I don't forget to put them in. Also, Jim, did my phone come back up? Yes, it did. Okay, Jim Walden has a fundraiser event. And it's a small donation event, like a $25 event. And he's looking for people to attend. Okay. The date of this event is on here somewhere. It says, meet Jim and hear his visions for a better New York City that serves all of us. It's hosted by Terry Bartlett, Maggie Boyd, Katie Hamill, Terry Farley Moran, Laura Riley, and Ron Wegsman. It's at the Ivory Peacock Bar, 38 West 26th Street. It's August 13th from 5:30 to 7:30. And as attendee, you can make a $25 donation to attend. And if you have any questions, you can email them at events@Jim4, F-O-R, Jim4NYC.com. And I will make sure I post that on our social and put that in our email as well. So date again is August 13th. It's at the Ivory Peacock, 38 West 26th Street from 5:30 to 7:30. And the donation is a $25 donation. We're looking for a few people that want to come. We have 4 tickets. So if you're interested in attending this event, please let us know. Email us, and first come, first serve. We will take the first 4 people and we will contact you for a ticket. Okay. So that's the event for there. And let us know that you're interested in coming. So please email us if you are interested in coming, retirees@nycretirees.org. Again, we have 4 tickets to this event. It's a $25 donation to go, and we will get you those tickets. First come, first serve. Email us at the org. Okay, let's see. What questions do we have? Copay questionnaire done. Thank you, Lorraine. I now live in New Jersey for 7 years, but was born, bred, raised a family, and worked in New York for 65 years. People comment on other sites that since I'm no longer a resident, I should shut up. This hurts. Who's on what site do they say that? I never say that to you. We always know, we tell you, even if you don't live in New York City, that there are things that you could do. So when we ask people to come to events, if you can't come to event because you're at a distance, and we do have some people from New Jersey that come to our rallies, but you would be the person to help us with phone banking, and that's coming. Literally, so you know, we have like a whole list of things that we're going to start doing, and our meeting was supposed to be today, but it'll be tomorrow. So don't worry. We're going to start rolling some of that out. Okay. I know you just want to do something and you're kind of frustrated that we haven't in a while, but we've been planning to do this. And even if you can't do the in-person events, you can do the phone calls. Okay. Or, we'll find something for you to do. Don't you worry. And I appreciate you, Kathy. And I appreciate all the retirees that are not in the 5 boroughs. A majority of people are in the 5 boroughs. So it does help, but please don't feel bad. And the people that are saying crap to you, just tell them to kiss your butt. So that's all I have to say. Username, also known as Tommy Hogan. Is Brannon joining us, or is he busy interviewing for a job with Mom Donnie? Well, that's really interesting because I've texted him a few times, and he did not respond back to me because I really wanted him to show up tonight, and he had said he was going to bring Kayla, and so if you guys are, I know Justin's probably not watching. I don't know. You think he's job hunting? I don't know. I'll text him that you guys feel stood up. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see. Maybe he'll respond. Maybe he won't. Justin, if you're online surfing somewhere, they're looking for you. Where are you? I don't know. He was supposed to come. He said he would. I texted him. What can I tell you? Justin, if you're here, text me. I'll bring you in right now. I'll send you a link. Come on, Justin. Tommy says you're too busy to hang out with us. Media sites. I know. It wasn't us. Don't worry, Kathy. You've seen out of state resent. I want to know where that's happening because I'll knock that down personally. I don't take that. That's BS. You don't have to say it here if you don't want to, but you could message me and tell me where you're seeing that, and I'll help you with that. I don't buy that. Yeah, I'm not happy about that. That doesn't make any sense. And who's doing that to you? Fellow retirees or who? Okay. So those are the things that I'm looking for you guys to start doing. We're going to start doing rallies. We're going to start going to City Hall. I want you to put a couple of dates on your calendar because we have a few events coming up. Calendar. So grab your calendars. Tuesday, September 2nd, pencil in rally, City Hall. Tuesday, September 2nd. It's the day after Labor Day. Saturday, September 6th. We are still working on that event, but please pencil in all day. Saturday, September 6th, Manhattan. And then I will keep you posted as to the other events. Others on media. So, Kathy, you're talking about like reporters saying something about retirees don't live in New York? I don't know. I wouldn't take that seriously at all. Maybe you should write an op-ed about how many retirees do live in New York, because 75% of them do. Okay. Saturday, September 6th. Yes, John. But I'm not ready to make that announcement. So yes, John Harrington, yes. Janice. Yes. Justin's promises are not valid, just like promising not to vote. Just like promising not to vote for casinos in Coney Island. I don't know. Maybe that's why he's standing you up. He don't want to talk to you about that. I don't know. I'll ask. What can I tell you? I don't know. I'll ask. I don't know what to say about that. Kathy says, I favor Jim Walden and do my best to get media to pay attention to him. And I'll start to put in the email today. We'll also put that the reporters that he wanted you to connect with or tag when you're making a post. Okay. Ellen, will the Staten Island Ferry Doris Day make a repeat appearance? From what I understand from the Maritime Masters mates and pilots, yes. So yes, that they are planning to do that again. Diana, funny, I was just talking about that with someone in op-ed response, defense of out-of-state interest. And so understand that needs to also be explained, because we have a lot of retirees that maybe can't afford to live in the city, or their adult kids need some help with the grandkids and they end up having to move, you should not be shamed for not living in New York. That is your right to not live in New York City. And that doesn't make you any less of a New York City retiree. So please don't think that it does. Yes, Ellen, I knew what you meant, Dorothy Day, the Dorothy Day. Justin used us for votes like the cop bidder. Oh, Jaws. Yes. Yes, I know what you're talking about. That's hysterical. What's the deal with Senator Warren endorsing Mamdani? He seems okay with putting elderly people in MAP. Sounds to me the senator is okay with that. Talks out both sides her mouth, another phony. I honestly don't have any idea, Pat. We've been trying to speak with them. You even saw Jamal Bowman had a couple people on a social the other day talking back and forth with us, and he asked us to private message him. Several of us did. And I know he's seen our messages. He's not responding either. They don't want to address this. So it's got to be addressed somewhere, and just keep doing what you're doing. Keep messaging them. Keep messaging all of them. Several retirees called Senator Warren's office saying, you were literally in the house of the union that was trying to force us into Medicare Advantage, and you were there for a child care event while he's helping people with child care. This is the same guy that's still okay with forcing retirees into Medicare Advantage. She has no idea what she did with that. She lost the respect of so many people because she didn't listen, didn't pick up the phone, didn't want to talk to us. Many of our retirees who are living in her district, very, very upset about that. I understand, but look, how many people from out of state are trying to get involved in this mayoral election? They don't have an identity. You know, if you want to analyze this, we need a couple of you retirees where's our retirees that were psychiatrists and psychologists? We need to analyze this. Let's see. Why would you think a whole bunch of Democrats would be upset that many of the other Democrats are not getting behind Mamdani? Because they've lost their support of their base, and they're trying to rally who they perceive to be the winner. I always feel like the underdog in this fight. Like, I'm a Mets fan. I'm a Jets fan. And no matter how many times the Mets lose, when they do lose a lot, I'm always a Mets fan. I was an Islander fan, and those were some painful games because Ranger fans, no matter if they win or lose, they're just really ugly. I remember many a days taking the train home from Madison Square Garden, and even when they won, they were arrogant. It's like when they lost, they were ugly. But, okay, Robin. So put politics aside, because like political position, I've always put whatever my political personal positions are aside. So help me out here, Robin. Does this theory make sense? People from all over are trying to get behind Zohran Mamdani. And it's frustrating a lot of people to see that it's happening from other states. And they don't understand why. Well, the Democratic Party as a whole doesn't have an identity anymore. They've lost a majority of their supporters. Even sections of the population that used to support Democrats went Republican in this last election. So if we're to analyze that, this to them is a winner. It's like people wearing Yankees hats and they don't even know the Yankees, but Yankees are cool, so they'll wear a Yankees hat. Yes, thank you, Ellen. I will always be a Mets fan. But I think that's what it is. They need an identity. I mean, tell me if you think I'm crazy with that, but they've mostly been moderate Democrats. And then here you have a self-proclaimed Democratic socialist who's saying he wants this change. Warren has always had this socialist agenda. So, okay, I didn't know that. I think she's trying to get some energy behind her. And I would agree with you. When you see someone else has energy, you want their energy with you. And so you think joining them will give you that. And I think that's why you're also seeing politicians who are term limited rally around that person, because if that person gets into office, they now have a job in 2026. Okay, so I'm kind of on the right track then. I did not know about her having socialist ideas. Flailing and grasping. Yes, because they're desperate at this point. They always said that they were the party of the working people. If you saw her video at DC 37, where she said the Democratic Party is the party of the working people and that they were there to help protect their jobs and help increase their pay and protect their health care. And I'm literally screaming at my computer screen going, really? Where have you been on this issue? Now, truth, she did join us in DC in 2023, but we haven't seen her support us on this issue. We haven't seen AOC, and I don't see Ebeth on here, but Ebeth Mejia came down to DC with us. Me and her personally met with AOC's office. One of her chiefs of staff or staff persons used to work with Senator Warren. We could never get AOC to support what we were doing. Not come out. Now, she's been against Medicare Advantage. I'll give you that. And so is Warren, but not vocal enough to support what we're doing. And that's a problem. But others know that the left agenda can be toxic. And I think that's the concern now is because they've gone so far left that scares a lot of people. Look, there's been analyses done with a lot of the things that Mamdani wants to do that he can't, in all honesty, get them done on his own. The only way his agendas can be accomplished is if they're more like-minded people or more people in office, incumbents, that are willing to pass that socialist agenda. If not, he's going to have a hard time passing that. And a lot of the things he wants to do cannot be done within the powers of the mayoralty. It has to be done at the state legislature. So he's going to need help from the state legislature. You don't see right now a lot of Democrats in the state jumping behind him just yet. So that should be a signal. Cesar, I'm an independent. I was the independent party chairman of the Bronx and state committee person in the 80th Assembly District in the 90s. Hi, Cesar. So we're seeing a lot of people who've abandoned the Democratic Party over some issue, one issue, another, and went to the independent. And then the governor, a couple years ago, I guess, decided to declare you couldn't run at the independent party line. You had to create your own party line. You couldn't run as an independent or independents. You actually had to create that's why now you have Eric Adams, Jim Walden, and Andrew Cuomo all running on different lines, their own lines that they created. They had to create 3 new independent lines because you couldn't use the word independent or independents. Robin says, yes, Brian Lehrer has been covering this angle a lot. So I guess I have to try to catch up on that. I've been trying to spend more time outside and get away from my computer. So my theory isn't crazy then. I think they want to rally around that person to get that person in to create a new identity for the Democratic Party because the identity that they have isn't working. So yeah, they're just trying to rebrand or reinvent themselves. They should have learned because that didn't really work so well with the Republican Party. Many of the strong, stalwart Republicans were were not happy that Trump took over their party because their politics were not always in line with the Trumper party. But I think it's going to be the same issue, and they're going to have to figure that out. He had Mamdani on yesterday. Okay. And then good analysis. Pretty good. Okay. That's good. So that's what I'm kind of thinking is why, because you're seeing a lot of people that are telling us that they would try to help us if he got elected and in his campaign. But it's concerning that he's still not speaking with us. And I have to keep reminding people that no answer is an answer. I had a group of retirees that were high managerial trying to say, well, we'll get you a meeting. And I'm like, why do triple flips backwards to try to go around the process to get a meeting when they're not paying attention to us. If we have a staff, we have advisors, we have a lobby, we pay a lobbyist that they're supposed to be getting us these meetings. Now, our team had a meeting with him, met with him for other clients like 3 weeks ago. Guess what? He's not agreeing to meet. So whether he's not agreeing now or he'll agree later, well, then why don't you just schedule something a month out? Why is it so difficult to communicate? If you want to say that you want to be the mayor of the people, well, we're the people. We are part of the people. When he was at the police officer that died, he said that he would talk with anybody. He would talk with the Muslims. He would talk with the Jews. Well, retirees are Muslims and Jews. Why is he still not speaking to us? Because we're a retiree? So is it just not the age demographic? I mean, what is it? So I honestly, I can't tell you, but all I could say is I'm not chasing people. I'll ask several times. I could be a good pain in the butt, but I'm not chasing someone and begging them to work with us. If they don't, that's an answer. And so I said to these gentlemen, if I was your daughter, would you tell me to chase a guy? The answer is no. And I had to put it in that perspective. You wouldn't say to your daughter, go chase that boy. You'll get him to like you. You'll get him to talk to you. Really? No, thank you. But you have to be able to say it that way, because once I said it to these group of men, it was like talking to several of my fathers. Then it goes, you're right. We shouldn't be forcing something that they don't want to happen. Because them not responding to you, your lobbyist, other retirees, and you guys are making yourself known, and I have no problem with that. But you do have supporters. Yes, Josephine. So did you ever have an opportunity to speak with Curtis? Yes, actually, we did. I had a great meeting with Curtis a couple months ago. It was right around April, I guess. But I can ask his team if he'd come on a Friday Night Live. If you'd like to speak with him, I'll try that. Sure. See if he'll come on a Friday. I will definitely ask. Jerry, could it be that Mamdani has an ambidextrous mouth? He can speak out of two sides of his mouth with ease, and fluency is appalling. Do you know what I think? He's 33 years old. He's got at least another 30 years before he retires. He doesn't know what your life struggles are. He doesn't really even know life struggles for a 33-year-old, given the life that he's had. So it would behoove him to want to speak to you because you have world experience that he doesn't. You can educate him as to what it's like when you do leave retirement. Now, as talking both sides of his mouth, he has walked back some things he said. I don't necessarily want to attack him for that, but it does show that he didn't think out well or plan well his position, strategy, whatever, before making a policy position. Because now look where he's at. A lot of his rhetoric has been defund the police or anti-police. And then now you want to be mayor of the city of New York, and you just had a police officer that was killed while working. And the family was Muslim. How are you going to come out against the police? And the team that responded was the team that he wants to disband. So, and he still hasn't walked that back either. So he'll talk about, you really have to listen to his videos. Watch him talk about tier 6. Watch him talk about para pay. Is Marie on here? Because in his video with the educators for Zoran, he talks about honoring the promise and making sure that paras have a wage, a livable wage. But he says he supports Intro 1261, which is the para bill. The para bill gives paras a $10,000 non-pensionable increase to their pay. Well, if you were a para, don't you want to work to be able to retire? Because once you retire, 1261 goes away. You can't take that money into retirement. What Zoran should have said was, I will make sure my labor relations negotiates properly with you to increase the pay pensionable for your paras. Because paras shouldn't be making whatever it is, 30-something, 40-something $1,000 a year. Like EMTs and paramedics, that their salaries and their wages are being suppressed, right? Yes, Katie, absolutely. Because then you support Intro 1261, which gives them a $10,000 wage increase, but it's non-pensionable. The day they retire, they're back at their crappy salary at a 50%. And let me say this. They just announced the COLA for 2025, right? Fiscal 25. It was 1.3%, I think it was. It ends up being like $216 for the year. $216 for the year. That is what a retiree gets as a cost of living adjustment for the year. You're paying more in groceries, in fuel, and in copays than $214. They just took that money right back from you. So this is what he doesn't understand. What is his idea of a livable wage? He has been endorsed by Mogru and Garrido. That said is enough to me on its own. And I know, because they're not telling him. And I will tell you, Kathy, you will hear Henry Garrido make statements that retirees don't live in New York. Henry Garrido doesn't know what he's talking about. We have reports that 75% of retirees live in the state of New York. So he's trying to minimize your value. We will never do that. You are always a New York City retiree. You served, you paid your time, you paid your dues, and you were promised benefits and wages. And we are going to make sure that no matter what happens, no matter who's in office, no matter who's running those unions, you get what you were promised. So that's why it's really important that we stick around, because they're hoping that we run out of money. They're hoping that we get fed up and tired. They're hoping that we go away. You know, you heard that audio that someone sent us from Henry Garrido, that he didn't like that we were getting involved in politics and that people are listening to us, right? Yeah. We need to protect our health care. Well, I don't know why, Janet, but don't worry. They'll show up on YouTube, and they'll also show up in our emails. Camille, totally agree. Yep. I'm sorry, guys. I mean, look, we're even playing Shrink on a Friday night now. I mean, this is, you've got to figure out why this is happening like this. And I think it's self-preservation. Look, many of these council members and politicians are term limited. So they no longer have a job after December 31st. What are they going to do? They have to kiss somebody's pinky ring, I guess. I mean, what can I tell you? And Medicare payments keep going up. Yes, and premiums will go up and copays will go up. And listen to Zoran's rap songs as well. Oh, I heard about that. I have to go listen. CJP, you are so on point when it comes to Mamdani. Let's please recognize Mamdani does not give a crap about old people, city retirees on fixed income. I know. I'm actually working on another Candidates in Cars Having Coffee video that I filmed yesterday. Now I just got to put it together. So give me the weekend. I'll play. At least I mowed my lawn today. Katie says, but Marianne, this could be canceled at any time. The para bill by future city councils and mayors, the only way to get paras the pay that they're due is at the bargaining table. Amen, sister. I am with you. High five. Yes, because the only way they'll get that money is if it's funded by the council. If the council isn't willing to support us, I don't ever see this para bill ever passing, because you're looking at, what was it, $260 million a year? I don't foresee them doing that. I don't foresee them doing that. Paras should have a respectable wage, but it's also the respect of their union leader to make sure that he's negotiating that. And we know from looking at the cost data that the UFT had $450 million in that last contract to give to paras. They chose not to. They chose to give it to other titles within the UFT, including teachers, and not give it to the paras. He had money to do that. He chose not to. So I agree with you, Katie, 110%. And yes, it can be changed, which is why we want a law passed that helps us do this. That para bill isn't sustainable. Elizabeth. Hey, Elizabeth, how are you doing? Thank you for sharing. That's such a huge issue for us in California. Teachers' unions have agreed to one-time salary increases paid for through our collective healthcare fund. Words matter, and without negotiating raises into the pay scale, we are minimizing our labor and disregarding a complete contract. Absolutely, Liz, because what's happening is we keep saying this is a trend, and this is a mark of a poor union leader negotiator. They don't know how to negotiate. And what they keep doing, and what they're doing to you too, is negotiating away your health care for raises. That's not a union leader. They should be walking into that meeting with a big stick. And in the next couple of weeks, you're going to see me interview a couple of unions that listened to us. I'm going to bring back on the Connecticut unions, which were the first unions to work with us, that helped fight back being forced into Medicare Advantage. And then after that, I'm going to introduce you guys to some New York City unions that are on the state sector side that did the same thing. Not only did they change their contracts to prevent the future administrations or future union leadership from forcing their retirees into managed health care, but they also fought back at the bargaining table and stopped it there as well. They had to do some other financial arithmetic someplace else, but they preserved their health benefits. And that's key. So this is happening nationwide, and this is scary to me because labor is literally selling off themselves. And the way I describe this is it's like union leaders that don't know how to negotiate or bargain. It's like they put the value of their workers in a box, and they know, according to what they're being told at OLR, their labor relations people or their municipality, their employer, your value is just this. You're not worth any more. No matter how many years pass by, no matter how many decades go by, no matter the cost of inflation, this is your value. That's it. Just this. And so if you want something else, you've got to take something out of that box in order to get that higher raise. So you're literally selling off yourself because your municipality, your employer doesn't value your value. And that's not leadership, unfortunately. So it angers me to watch that happening because unions in the past would never have done that. No matter where you live now, New York City retirees lived and worked in New York City for decades. I agree with you, Ellen. Absolutely. Jerry, Jim Walden has vibe, vision, integrity, brains, and experience. He has vibe. Ah, that's cool. By the way, $15 copays goes towards the 20%. Emblem pays after our $15 copays. I was told that's how all copays work. Yes, I'm familiar with how they work. Right now, we're in a fight with them because they originally told us in a meeting that we would have one copay per visit. Now they're saying it's one copay per provider per visit. And if you go to the doctor, and the doctor, that's one copay. The doctor sends you down the hall to go have an x-ray. That's another copay. And if it's read by another doctor and that doctor is in the same practice, that's a third copay. And if your doctor is in a hospital, now you have a facility fee. Guess what? That's a fourth copay because now OLR is saying each of those are different providers. Not just it's the same practice. And the commissioner of OLR literally acknowledged in an email to me that hospitals and private capital, private equity are purchasing up doctor practices and that each one of those is a different provider. I was like, that's bullshit. So I don't know where that fight's going to go, but for those of you that have been messaging us these issues with multiple copays per visits, no, we didn't forget you. We are still looking into them. You're free to ping Bob or me at the org's email, but we are still fighting this issue because now they're trying to redefine what a provider is. So yes. After you've met your deductibles, you pay the $15 and then Emblem would pay the balance. Some people are noticing that their copays are less, their cost is less than the $15. And OLR still has not answered this. You walk into the doctor, you pay $15. By the time the EOB makes it to you, maybe your cost was $13.64. And so now you have to go to the doctor to get that money back. And that's if they tell you and if you notice the EOB. So this is basically theft at this point. So we're trying to fight all of this. So don't think we've given this up. It's just moving at a snail's pace. And there's literally, we've been messaging OLR about this since May. These issues that you guys have been having with multiple copays. They don't want to answer the question. So hang in there with us. I mean, that's really all I could tell you. We're fighting it. I heard him talking to Brian Lehrer, NPR. He addressed the defund the police issue when Brian asked him download the conversation. I will. I'll actually download it and listen this weekend while I'm doing more work outside. Thank you. Mom Donnie does not even know what a civil service exam in New York City is. Will the retirees vote for Curtis? I have no idea. I guess if they like Curtis, I'll try to get him on to talk to you. I always thought the unions were for their workers. Seems like the only worker they support. Well, remember something, retirees are not in their unions. That's why they sold you off. There used to be a time decades ago when administrations were urging union leaders to sell out the unborn, which was to change starting pay or benefits for new hires, right? When they realized that was a bad practice, they then sadly took a turn for the worse and decided to steal from their retirees, many retired unionists. But I will tell you that was encouraged by the Mayor's Office of Labor Relations, Bob Lynn, and OMB. And that was under Dan Foulahan and Ken Godner. And Martin Scheinman was also in that mix. So when we keep saying that there were people that were trying to come up with a scheme to be able to fund contracts on other people's backs, the United Federation of Teachers started that practice egregiously. They did it before, but most egregiously in 2014. And then Garrido did the same thing in 2018. So I have never seen union contracts like that before, where they literally sold out everyone. Now, you've been listening to me say last Monday when I did our new radio show that the new healthcare plan is coming. They're going to, the municipal labor committee doesn't know that. You've got Emily James or whatever her name is up on TikTok and Instagram talking about the MLC healthcare, new healthcare plan for active and non-Medicare retirees, under 65 retirees. She doesn't know what she's talking about because of all of the unions we spoke to this week, no one has seen this plan at all. So it hasn't been announced yet, and they're still tying up loose ends and finalizing that contract, but it should be released to the MLC sometime in September. And from what we understand, that I guess Mulgrew has a health committee that he needs like a month in order to get it passed. So if it's announced in September, it's got to be reviewed by all of the unions. Hopefully they do it right this time and they bring it back to their boards. And then the UFT, it needs to go through, I guess, their board and then come back. And I bet you, though, they're going to try to jam this through by the end of October, early November. And from what we're hearing still, it's a national plan with Emblem handling the regional medical, United handling the hospitalization. And if you're a retiree outside the state of New York, United Healthcare is the provider, covers you for both medical and hospitalization. So if you're in Florida, you would have United Healthcare's network. If you're in California, United Healthcare's network. But it is a heavily managed PPO. So prior authorizations to control the costs. So you'll see all of that. We're hearing tiering again, and this keeps coming up. Tiering of copays, tiering deductibles, depending upon what facilities you go to. So the only way we're going to know is when they finally announce it, because it's, man, has it been kept tight. But stay tuned because it's got to come out soon. They're trying to, the city, it has a goal to try to implement this for January 1st. And yet still, it has not been brought to all of the unions, president's attention, and not even they nor their boards know. And we're going into August. We're in August. So if that comes out September, I'll put it into October. That means that they're going to try to jam this thing down in 2 months. Because if it passes in October, it'll be all of November, all of December, and implemented for January 1st. So you watch October, November, December. Yeah, they're going to try to squeeze that in for January 1. That'll be almost 3 months. I don't know, guys. Stay alert. But Ms. James wouldn't know, and the UFT isn't leaking any details either. John, there's been a neo-Marxist thing going on for some time. The Democratic Party is having a civil war over this. I communicated with former Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson, who explained to me how Trump groupies had or have this grip on local Republican parties nationwide. Both parties need reform and soul searching. So that's what I was saying before. It's like you have the extremes taking over the parties, because the Republican Party would never have looked like this, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, that this would not have, you would not have seen this. And I think now you're seeing the same thing that you saw of the fringe or the outsider extremists taking over the right is also taking over the left, which leaves a lot of people disenfranchised because we hear it from both sides. But thank you, John. Katie, it's union busting by the unions. I agree with you 100%. Why does the UFT think the para bill is legal but not 1096? Well, because he knows it's not illegal. Alan Klinger told him it's not illegal. We have that audio that Alan Klinger literally said this is not illegal. It's just if the city has to pay for those retirees, it's less than it would pay for you. And the unions were like, oh, we can't be sharing money with those retirees. We need the money. So, and our bill stops them from passing more copays on us. And that's why they don't want to see that. They still want you and your pocketbook. You are a cash cow. They want your cash. If they cash you, then, well, then they don't have to pay. You are funding your former unions or the unions if you were never union. And that's another thing. Not many people know that managerials were never in a union. Policymakers, never in a union. Lawyers, commissioners, deputy mayors, mayors, city council members. So, and yet all of those people got screwed. Josephine, I've been out of circulation, just discharged from the hospital with pneumonia and PE, blood work, between blood work 1 to 2 times a week, doctor appointments, cancer treatments. Copays are $60 most weeks. I'm sure most are paying similar. Do we have an update on the copay? There are no updates. None. They're not responding. So I have no update for you yet. And both of our attorneys are on vacation this week. But there are no updates on the copay case. Last time we spoke to them, they were like, they weren't moving back off of them, that they were going to be here to stay. So I can't really tell you what's happening with that. All I could tell you is in order for us, our goal is to try to fix this faster, is to try to pass this legislation. So hang in there with us. Make sure you're investing in this fight. Can keep your donations coming to this organization because we're still running low on our donations. I will put up, I know William's going to ask me any minute now for a thermometer. That is on my to-do list. I will put up a new thermometer because we did not meet our goal for the last one. So I'll do it again and then get that up this weekend. You guys gave me a lot of homework today. Please don't get rid of our healthcare for raises. That's not nice. I know that's, but this is what's happening nationwide. It's not just here. Walking in with the big stick is in point, darling. Absolutely. I agree with you. Thank you. I look forward to these examples. I'm so glad you could join us. Thank you, my dear. It's good to see you. William, I saw you post the first link in Facebook comments, but it disappeared. I don't know why, William. Another person said the same thing, but don't worry. I'll make sure that the links are on our Facebook page and they're in our email that I'll be sending out this weekend. Sounds like we need to meet with the UFT executive board. Well, if you're a UFT, because I'm sure they're not going to like me in there or they're not going to invite me there. I also think it's a national trend towards privatization of everything. Camille, I agree with you 100%. But this is where the union leaders should be walking in with 2 big sticks because you can't say you're a union and you're against privatization if you're allowing privatization of your healthcare. And when I first met Michael Mulgrew back like 4.5 years ago, I literally said to him, how is it that you condemn privatizing public education, but you're okay with privatizing healthcare? And he was like, it's not the same. And I'm like, yes, it is. Tried to tell me that insurers were private. Well, not when it's Medicare. Most of my copays are $30 to $45. So you're going to see, I did put up that copay questionnaire. Looks like we only have 9 people so far that answered it. Let me drop that copay questionnaire into the chat again. Copay questionnaire. Okay. Oops, Janet, I just saw you ask me a question about one of the questions. And now I don't see where it went. My screen just jumped and it disappeared. Oh, there it is. The first copay question asked for copays that were charged. Most of my providers don't do copays at the visit, but will bill me later. Should I include those even though they haven't been billed yet? Hold on, let me look at the question. Okay, so you would be charged for those even if you weren't billed. So give me an idea. We're kind of looking at how many of your copays from January 1 through January 31, how many copays, that should be were you charged? Were you charged? So you may not see that you were charged them, but you're going to be charged them. That's my point. You know, by how many visits you've had, most likely how many copays you would have. If you can estimate that, that would be helpful. I'm not looking for an exact number, but as close as you can possibly get me. I know I thought I had one copay. I went to the doctor. They did, when I had fallen, I went to the doctor, and then they did a Doppler on my leg looking for a blood clot. The doctor that read that Doppler was in the same practice, but they considered him, Emblem and the city consider him a second provider in the same practice. So they charged me 2 copays. That's insane. So I'm thinking provider. It is the name of the doctor, Southern Vein or whatever it is. But you shouldn't be nickel and dime that way. But you know, if you went there, if you were not aware that you would be charged 2 or 3, you thought you just got charged 1, just give us an update on what you think it would be. What would you have been charged? And you can quickly look on your EOBs. You'll know what you're going to be charged most likely. So give me an estimate for that. That's the best I could tell you. Do we have to pay that facility fee? It's $30 per visit. Barbara, could you do me a favor, please, and send us copies of that? I need to see your EOB from Medicare and your EOB from Emblem on that, and the bill that the doctor sent you. So if you could please send that to retirees@nycretirees.org. I want to see that they're charging you $30 for that. Please. Thank you. My copay for one of my doctors is $12.82. I'm getting a refund of $2.18 for each visit. And that's because you have an honest doctor that figured they would send you the check back. So, Louis Espo, thank you, Marianne. We would be screwed if it wasn't for you. You know, someone said this to me today, we were talking about what we've accomplished, another retiree over this time, over the last 4 years, since we literally started this in like March, April of 21 in the middle of the pandemic. And they said, don't you feel the things that you've accomplished? And I said, no, I don't feel like I've accomplished. I don't feel accomplished. This is frustrating to me because this is common sense, and we should not be still fighting this 4 years later. And they said, but you have. I mean, you've basically, if you guys, your group, your organization didn't exist, we would all be in Medicare Advantage, and we would be fighting then all of those whatever issues we'd had or complaining about them somewhere, because we wouldn't still have traditional Medicare. And then, of course, we would have been paying copays from January 1 of 22, which we're still fighting to get those back, and it looks like we will get those back. But you then put off having copays till 25. So think about that. If you were paying, $600 or $1,000 in copays, you could have been paying that all during 22, all during 23, all during 24. And then initially they wanted to charge you premium for you and your spouse or a disabled adult. You would have been paying $2,400 a person a year for premium. So this is what frustrates me, is when I hear the unions or Michael Mulgrew specifically say premium free, high quality healthcare. I mean, Emily James says it all the time too. Premium free, high quality healthcare. Girl, do you realize the UFT was trying to charge retirees premium in 2021? Premium free, high quality healthcare? That was not premium. It was not premium free. It was not high quality, and I wouldn't even call it healthcare. And they were trying to force premium on retirees. So no. So every time they say that, it just drives me crazy, because they're trying to convince you that you're getting something of value. You still have premium free, high quality healthcare, but then you're paying almost $100 a week in copays. How is that high quality? And your 3% raise and your 2%, 1.2% COLA just went back to the city. That's not a benefit. You're giving them back your money. So you're not paying a premium, but you're paying out the ass in copays and deductibles. Does that make sense? And we've posted documents time and again showing that the unions are walking into the MLC, the leadership of the MLC, the biggest unions in the MLC, going in to renegotiate, adding more copays. Well, if we change this copay from 10 to 25, we can save the city $50 million. Who does that? So I can't wait to see what the hell they do with this new plan. I just can't. It's just disgusting. Bloomberg gave teachers a big increase, but cut positions so workloads increase. Well, that was what they'll call productivity. I know what he'll say. Are we presenting a bill to protect the retirees? We have a bill, Intro 1096. That's our bill. We're hoping to get that bill passed. There's 18 sponsors on that bill. Yep, listen to your new radio show, which is really good. So some of you guys, if you listened on Monday at 5 p.m., you heard Diane Omdahl from 65 Inc. talk about creating a Social Security account, creating a Medicare.gov account, look at your EOBs. So she talked a little bit about all of that. She's going to come back because when they go to change the plans for in the end of September for your drug plans, that people who have marketplace drug plans, she'll talk to you about that as well. But it was interesting to have her on. And she also talked about WISER, WISER, where are those pilot project, 17 CPT codes in which there's prior authorization in traditional Medicare in just like 7 states. So she talked about that a little bit as well, but she will be back. So don't worry. She was a phenomenal person to speak to. You can also follow her on social media. She's on LinkedIn. She's a phenomenal writer. She also writes articles like in Forbes, which is she wrote about this WISER program. So try to find her and follow her. Her daughter's Melinda Coggle, and her daughter also works for the company and writes about these issues as well. Anne says, facility fee in New York State is illegal if you are told in advance. Is illegal except if you are told in advance in writing. We'll find it again, reread to make sure it's accurate, and post on Monday when the site opens. And I'll actually try to find that. I know we were talking about that the other day. I'll add that to my list. New York State facility fee. Okay. I guess I'm a stubborn old lady, but I still say we should have no charges from when we retired with those contracts that were ratified. But see, that's the deal. There was no contract. We didn't have a contract that said we would never have copays, and that's what they're going to argue. Even though we were told that you wouldn't pay anything in your healthcare, that's not the way that they interpret what we were told. So, and then of course they all have amnesia. Saw an article that Aetna is closing 90 Medicare Advantage plans. So yes, they are closing 90 plans across 34 states, Steve. And if you also read in Modern Health, United Healthcare is dumping about 600,000 retirees off Medicare Advantage. So yes, you are 100% correct. Can you explain how they resurrected the copays again? So they resurrected the copays because the copay case that we started was contractual. The contract between the city and GHI did not permit them to charge you copays. So we said that was a breach of contract. Not that you had a contract with the city that they would never charge you a copay. It's that the contract says Medicare will pay 80%, Emblem will pay the last 20% that Medicare doesn't pay. Nowhere in there does it say it will pay the balance after you pay a $15 copay. So they were violating their own contract. That's the contract when we speak of that. So what they did was they recognized that they illegally charged you copays in 22. You will most likely get those back. But they went back and they renegotiated the contract and allowed them to charge you copays. That's how they got it back. And there wasn't a way we could stop them on that. And why? It was because the unions authorized that to happen. And yet we're still fighting that as well, because even if the unions didn't agree to it, the city could have done it all on their own because the unions didn't stand up to protect you. That's why. If the unions told the city there's no way in hell you're charging those retirees that make crappy pensions $15 copays, that would never have happened. But they had no problem with it, and they didn't fight it. And that was because it was either the money came from you or the money came from them and their active workers. That's why. And they collected over $53 million by charging retirees illegal copays. Now just think what they're collecting today. John says the devil behind the details, private equity. They're attempting to milk our healthcare and pensions and have politicians Boston bought. I know, my dear. John, I'm hoping to be able to log in as a member with an account. It says to check email. It doesn't come right away. Please check your spam and see if it's there, because it should come pretty quickly. John, primaries are funded by taxpayer dollars. Independent as taxpayers should be able to vote in the primaries. I don't know. I never even wanted to be involved in politics, my dear. 007, this is Larry. Celebrate my 59th year arrival to the USA. Yes, I achieved my American dream serving students in New York City for 33 years. Democracy rules and I'll die with my boots on. Are you listening, UFD? Yay, Larry. Oh my goodness. Well, congratulations to you, my dear. Yes, I will check that out. When is the RTC meeting with Zoran? I know emails were sent. What was the outcome? I have no idea. I'm not on that list. Can we order some big sticks? We could. I'd have to make a stick. Dullery Coulter, thank you, Mary, and you're welcome. CJP, in the CWA 1180 communique periodic publication, they report that the city and the MLC are working on healthcare benefit reform. Yes, that is the plan I was talking about. And of course, because Gloria is on the board, she's the treasurer, she would have that information. But none of the other unions do. Only the people who are on the board have that information. The unions don't know. Okay, let's see. I go to an oncologist on Staten Island for 8 years now just for follow-up. She works through Mount Sinai in an office building. She doesn't use any machines or equipment for a follow-up. I am now paying a copay for the doctor and for the office because it's owned by Mount Sinai. They are charging Medicare for the doctor $600, Medicare for the office $690. Both are paid for Medicare, but now I'm paying 2 copays for each follow-up visit. I'm a nurse and I could tell you no tests or equipment. Yes, so you're paying a copay for the doctor and you're paying a facility fee. Yes, I'm aware. So fill out the copay questionnaire and let me know what you're seeing with that. Shall we target the leaders of unions? Do we do that already? We haven't done that in a while. That might be coming. I'll keep you posted on that. Snake oil salesman. Absolutely. Yep. 1096. I need ACT shirt with hat with 1096. Let me see if I can create something in our Cafe Press store with that. We'll have to play with that. What is a facility fee? So if you go to a hospital, or if you go to a doctor in a hospital setting, that is a facility charge. The hospital will charge you for the doctor, for you just having the doctor in the facility. So many people are trying to find doctors not in like a Mount Sinai building, in a NYU building, because if you are, you're paying them for that. Now, if you go in, is what Ann was saying, under New York state law, But this is also happening outside in other states as well. But in New York, there's a law, she's telling me, against facility fees, that if they don't tell you about them up front, that it's illegal to charge, that they have to tell you when you come in that you may be charged a facility fee. So that's all I could tell you. Thank you, Anne. So Mamdani, endorsed by Mulgrew, is going to Mulgrew's house to meet with retirees in the RTC whose allegiance to the retirees and our fight is suspect. Easy to show up on friendly ground. Well, remember, both the UFT and I guess the RTC as well, by default, because they're not speaking out against anything that the union's doing. They're pretty much in lockstep with union leadership. And they haven't supported 1096, the retirees chapter, UFT, RTC. So to me, it's just like Tom Murphy 2.0, but maybe somewhat nicer. I really don't know. But no, I don't see them supportive of us at all. Matthew, on a relatively recent video, Zoran speaking with Adam sitting behind him. That's troubling. Matthew, could you send that to me? I'm always interested in watching these videos because I want to always hear what they're saying. Thank you, Anne. I will pull up that law. Diana, Matthew, the one posted out here today is from June on RA, I think. Are you referencing another? Where is the copay questionnaire? So hold on, let me, oh, you got almost 20 people now filled out the copay questionnaire. Let me come back to you. Copay questionnaire. Coming in the chat. Yeah, so, and that's interesting because the RTC would be supporting a candidate that is not meeting with all other retirees, only retirees of the union that endorsed him. So that to me is troubling because even if he may answer some of those questions, by refusing to meet with our organization and the larger retiree organization, as we have way more retirees than the RTC does, and we have retirees from all titles of all agencies in the city of New York, whereas RTC does not. So it's not meeting with retirees. He's meeting with a retiree organization subset of the union. That to me isn't indicative of support, because if he wants to be supportive or be the mayor of the people of New York, he would meet with all of you. That's my position. Look, you can't be in a leadership position and not speak to everybody. And I can tell you it's not easy. Because since we've started this, we get thousands of emails a day. I get over 100 text messages a day. I get Facebook messages, text messages, Messenger, messages on my social medias. Just contact me directly. I may not get back to you right away, but I get back to just about every single one of you. And then our team gets back to all of your emails. So that is leadership. Because when you're running an organization, your people are your organization. We value that. We know you're funding our fight. We know that we have to listen to you. You have a problem. We're here to help you. Our fight is your fight. Your fight is our fight. I can't do this myself. Bob can't do this himself. Michelle, Augie can't do this themselves. This is the fight that we have. And we need you guys to be there with us to do this. And when we do a call out to go to a council meeting, a rally, a bill event, we need you there because you are the retirees. So it pays to speak to all of you, not just a little subset of you. What can I tell you? That's my position. Matthew says the June video. Long Beach. I finally ended my cope. Yay. Now I hope you're sending it to us because we can surely use it. A catchy slogan with 1096. Well, I'll put up another suggestion of catchy 1096 slogans, I guess. I'll write that one down. Catchy 1096 slogans. You guys can give me all your slogans and then let me know. Katie, I guess RTC isn't meeting with him. I think he was saying it was the June meeting. I don't know. That's where they said it. You got me. Sandra, we put in the president of RTC and he said he was with us. Sandra, I don't know what you're talking about. Are you saying Bennett is the president of the RTC and he's with us? Because I don't see that. Bennett doesn't come out to our to support us. He's not taken any action in supporting our fundraising events. He doesn't help raise money for our bills or for our organization. He doesn't come out to support 1096. I see no letters from the RTC UFT to support 1096. I don't see him communicating with city council members with us to support 1096. If you're telling me Bennett Fisher is supporting 1096, I want to know where, because I don't see that anywhere. So that's all I've got, guys, and it's about an hour, so I want to wrap this up so you guys can go get your dinner and I can go relax. But I will send out an email. Please remember, if you are an AOL person, please make sure that this weekend you check your emails and make sure that you're getting our emails. Make sure that it's not in spam. I promise you I will send out that email by Saturday. Bennett got our support when he wanted to get elected. Now he turns his back. I honestly, Kathy, I don't know what happened to him. I think he was afraid to cross the union, and he had told me a couple of times he has to work with them, and so he wants to be nice to them. Well, you can still be nice to them and still take a position. What happened to have Intro 1096 move along 18 spot? What has to happen? So Joe, we are actually, if you missed the beginning of this video, we are working on a whole group of things. We were supposed to have a meeting today, but our team had to postpone it to next week. But we are rolling out. I have 6 pages here worth of events. So I did put up give you a calendar of list of events that we want you to participate in. There's a group of links I posted for signing up for political action. So we're going to need help for that as well. But we are starting to move on that. So I am going to call it an evening. Just stay tuned because I will put that newsletter out. If you are an AOL person or you are on our email list, but you don't see our email by tomorrow night, please check your spam box. And if you still haven't seen it, please email the org and let us know. Janet, I don't give a rat's ass that the RTC passed a resolution supporting 1096. If they're not doing a damn thing to help us get more sponsors on the bill, it's not support. Anyone can pass a resolution with an intent to say, I support this, but where's the muscle? Where's the legwork? Where's calling the council? Where's protesting with us? Where is making visits to council members' offices? Where's all of that? A resolution isn't support. That's lip action. That, to me, that's not support. Sorry, Janet. Marion, I've been unions all my adult working life, 53 years with the federal government in New York, and I must say you're the most attainable leader in any of the unions. I say God bless you, Voight. Thank you, David. Thank you. Thank you. And if you don't know, I have a labor relations degree. I was taught by some of the best people in the city of New York. I truly believe this. And this is what frustrates me, is that all the things that labor leaders have developed to this point that we earned during your tenures, during your decades, the leaders that served during your time should have the people today should have protected what they broke their asses for yesterday, not shit all over them. And that's the problem that I have with them. They had no problem throwing you away to finance themselves. That's not union. And I'll single day, it's not union. Yet they want to pound their chest and say they're union and call me a bitch. They could do that all they want. I know the truth. So what they don't like is that we fight the way we were taught old school union. They don't like our organizing. Henry Garrido fears our organizing. They don't like us vocal. Okay, well, then you should never have screwed us. Fix it, and we'll go back into retirement. But we'll never go back asleep, because you can never trust once they did it once, they'll do it again. Yes, lip action. That's what it's called, lip action. That's all it was, lip. They gave you lip. They gave you nothing else. There's nothing behind their words. Benefit was unreal to begin with. No surprise there. And you make tomato sauce. Yes, I do, because I'm Sicilian. I can make tomato sauce with my eyes closed. You have a brilliant mind, smarter than many of those schmucks who call themselves leader of the union. Thank you, Ellen. That touches my heart. Too bad Garrido and Mogu sit on it. Well, there you go. Listen, guys, I love you very much. Please make sure you are maintaining this fight. Make sure you are getting some of your friends, your peers, post on your social media. We need donations to this organization. Keep fundraising this fight, because this fight is your fight. Invest in your future, because I can't keep fighting for you if the organization isn't funded. Yes, I will post a new starting fundraiser starting for August, since we didn't meet our last goal for the last benchmark. So please hang in there with us. If you've canceled your COPE and your peoples like we've been asking you to, please again donate to our COPE fund. I will also put that email in the link that link in the email as well. So please you're gonna get a whole bunch of stuff in this email. Please make sure you go through it. It's going to be a lot of information, but this is what keeps us moving. And as a reminder for those that joined us late, Jim Walden is having an event at the Ivory Peacock on August 13th from 5:30 to 7:30. We have 4 tickets, so if you'd like to be one of those people to go to that event, it's a $25 donation to Mr. Walden to attend with his fundraiser. Please let us know. First come, first serve. We will let you know that you have been granted one of those tickets. And that event again is 38 West 26th Street. It's August 13th from 5:30 to 7:30. So if you're interested, please let us know. Looks like it'll be a fun evening to support Jim Walden's campaign. Yes, you do need a ticket to go, Camille, to my understanding. And if that changes, I will let you know. But we were given 4 tickets. So if you would like to go, please let us know. And we will take the first 4 people that email us at the org, retirees@nycretirees.org to go. Okay, guys, you have a great weekend. I appreciate everything that you do and coming here every Friday and listening to us. You will catch me on the radio Monday, 5 p.m., the Labor and Healthcare Confidential on WBAI. If you missed our show, I will upload as well our podcast of it from this past Monday with Diane Omdahl. And then the last half of the show was with Joe Maniscalco going through the Work Bites article that he wrote for that week. So you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you Monday. And my email to you guys will come out by tomorrow, and all of the information will be in there. Enjoy your weekend, guys. I appreciate you. Take it easy. Ciao.
Don't speak what you don't understand. The truth is not in your command. Don't shout about what you think is fake. The decision isn't yours to make. Don't lie about the way things are. The tall tales will take you very far. Don't scoff when they say it's the end. In this life, you know you can't pretend. The days pass by.